Good morning, Delaware. Happy Friday. It's such a beautiful day.
It is. It's Friday.
It's Friday. We're so happy to be here. I have to open with a really funny story from yesterday.
Yes.
It was a gorgeous day. I had a free car wash coupon. I was like, oh, it's a perfect opportunity. So I went to do the car wash coupon. I have a car that's like new to me.
Yeah.
It's a 2021, but I've only driven it for like 6 months or so. I didn't know how to put it in neutral. It has a very specific gear shift, and the gear shift is not typical.
Okay. So I keep turning my windshield wipers on when I'm looking for my brights.
You have a new car too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've been doing this now for almost a year, actually.
Here's Nicole in the line for the, and everybody was getting their car washed. So there's a line like 12 cars deep, and I'm in the middle of it, and the guys just, waving us on, doing the thing, doing the little like, okay, turn your wheels this way, turn your wheels this way. Okay, stop, put your car in neutral. He's giving all the hand signals. I was like, okay, great. And I was like, oh, I realize I've never put my car in neutral before. I should probably practice. And so I got it while I was in the line. And then, of course, when I got up to the conveyor belt, massive fail. He had to push the emergency stop button for everyone in the thing. And I was like, and so I rolled down my window and I was like, I don't know. It was the whiniest sound I've ever made
That's
in my life.
cracking me up.
And I was like, I don't know how to put my car in neutral.
I'm still trying to figure out, wash your car?
Oh, yeah.
That's what rain's for.
She was shiny.
Rain.
She looked
Well,
really
it doesn't have
good.
chemicals though.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what rain
But also, you went
does.
through one of those.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I know,
Those
Gage.
things never clean my car. I
No.
always go through the touchless.
It was a free coupon. I
Free,
was like,
okay.
why not?
Fair
It was
enough.
a free coupon. It was my birthday. I was like,
scratch your paint, though.
birthday
I
gift to me,
know.
beautiful
So
car.
I avoid.
And
See,
happy
I avoid
birthday.
those brushes.
I know.
I know. So that was my funny story from yesterday. But all right. Well, we've got Molly, we've got Gage, and we've got Claire Ehmann. It's so nice to have you in the studio this morning. You are a teen librarian at the Liberty Branch Library, and we're gonna start talking books.
I'm so excited.
You said you're 15 minutes away from the end of this
I
one.
am,
So
and
let's give us like
I'm going
the
to give you
99%
guys,
review.
just so you know, if 15 minutes runs it, I'm going to be amazed because this has been a fantastic book. This is one of those that I reserved, I think, at the beginning of last year.
Yeah.
And it just keeps coming up. I return it. It comes up. I return it.
Yeah. Can't find the right time for it.
No, but I kept hearing it was a great book. I didn't know till yesterday. Mom has read this in a book club. So
nice.
there are notes written down somewhere about this book, I think. But when I was talking to her last night, she was like, yes, I love that one too. So I think this is going to be a big one for everybody. It's a book called Crying in Mart.
Oh, yeah.
By Michelle Zauner. And I apologize if I'm saying her name wrong. This is trigger warning. If you're going through grief, this is a grief book. This is a beautiful grief book. The story is about Michelle. It's her bio. It's her real story. She grew up Korean American. And it's really all about the relationship she has with her mother. And I think mother-daughter relationships are so interesting. I know I have a really amazing one. And I'm always wanting to hear. And it's also the story of what it meant to be half Korean, half American, to be growing up in America, to know your mother's traditions. She honors them so well. I feel like I got this intimate look into Korean life. She was so raw with this book. It just, yesterday I was listening to the part. So you go through the process of her mother getting sick, getting pancreatic cancer, and dying, and her process of relating to her mother, and her life going. Our lives don't stop when we're in these moments,
Right.
And I remember just thinking each of those stages as she goes through, and thinking of my different grief as I went through, and how unique grief is, but how shared it is. How community affects grief, how others grieve, how others help us through the process of death. And, what another story to add to my brain on the process of death and the process of losing. This book was absolutely amazing. So if you know me, I love music, but I'm tone deaf. I can't remember what artist sings things. I sit in restaurants and say to my husband, This is that song I've been telling you for months that I love, and I've referred to it as a Moulin Rouge song, and he has to try to guess what that is.
Okay.
I've had a band that I can't remember the name of. I went to a concert in college, and I think they have rocks in their name, but actually I think you said it last week, and it wasn't rocks in their name, and I've already forgotten it again.
The Rolling Stones.
No. And there are no rocks in their name, and I have no idea why I think they have a lot of instrumental. It was like a 90s band.
Okay.
I'm a 90s girl, we'll get there. And you actually were talking about it a few weeks ago.
Ooh.
And I went home and told Lloyd, and he's like, I've forgotten what this is all in reference to. But I was like, it's that one. And I'm going to ask you again what it is. So she's supposed to be in a pretty well-known band. She's played the world. These last 15 minutes, I cannot wait.
Oh,
Sorry,
good.
radio listeners. I can't wait to get done and get back in my car and finish this book.
Yeah.
I love you all. But Crying in H-Mart, just really one of those books that, like I said, know your own grief journey.
Yeah.
Is
it a memoir or is it fictionalized?
it's a memoir.
It's a memoir.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a memoir.
All right.
It's her story of the loss of her mother and her life just going. I think that's the thing that was maybe the most poignant. Is she didn't leave out her life going on.
Yeah.
And how that affected things and how she heard from her mother. And there were just so many parts of this that I thought were just so touching, but it was also all five of my senses.
Mm-hmm.
As she was writing, I could taste some of the food she was talking about. I heard the things going on around her. I could see in my head what she was describing.
Yeah.
She got all five of my senses really alert in this book. And I just thought she was exceptional in the storytelling. She's easy to listen to. The audio is very easy to listen to. Do know the moment of her mother's death, I was crying as I was trying to get ready yesterday.
Yeah.
Not unusual for me with books, just fair fact. I drink my coffee, I listen to my book, and then there are tears. I'm an easy crier.
What's the author's name again?
Michelle Zauner.
Zauner.
Yes.
Okay.
Crying in H-Mart. Absolutely beautiful. Must read, I think, when you're in the right space in your life.
Yeah.
I really want to put that in there because I feel like
Mm-hmm.
it's one that I needed right now.
Right.
But it also is one that I think at the wrong time would have been very hard for me. I don't know if I could have heard the story in the way I did today.
Absolutely.
Love it when books find you at the right
I
time.
know, don't
Yeah,
you? And
yeah.
especially since I've been trying to read this for it was on the 2022 Goodreads favorites.
I actually bought it. I haven't read it yet, but I bought it because it was on that list.
Yes,
Now
and I
might
love
have to.
I love that list. And I've got to start doing the 2023s now, but I'm still cleaning up my 2022s. So
Well, Claire, that's a great segue. So
Yes.
what are you reading now, or what have you finished recently?
Yeah, so I've been really, really into fantasy lately.
Okay.
If you would
Awesome.
have asked me like in August of last year to pick up a fantasy book, I would have been like, absolutely not. But it was all over like the book TikTok and stuff. It's the ACOTAR series.
Oh, okay.
It stands for A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Oh,
Yes.
yes. Okay.
This
Yes.
huge like 20 book series that like spans across all these different worlds. People compare it to like the Marvel Cinematic Universe because all these series are connected, but they're not the same characters. So I finished the second book just recently in that series. It's called A Court of Mist and Fury.
Ooh.
Yes.
And I was telling someone after I read it that it was the first book in a long time that made me shed like actual tears. And I don't know, it was just so like heartbreaking and beautiful. But I just love like the world building that fantasy offers. Some people find that kind of boring, and you know, books are sometimes 300 pages longer than maybe they need to be because you're just explaining all the political systems and the landscape and stuff. But I eat it up, and I've been really enjoying it. It is a little bit spicy though.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
as part of my job, for all my teen listeners out there, I have a recommendation that's not as spicy
Oh, okay.
that I read right before it. Actually, it's called Divine Rivals. It came out. It was very, very, very good. It's about like the two Greek gods emerge from the dead and they go to war, and these two like writers. It's like an enemies to lovers romance, and they write and they hate each other, and they end up, spoiler alert, falling in love.
Aw.
I love that.
I know, and it's so good. There's a second book out right now. I've been on the hold list for it for so long. But fantasy, it's all I'm eating up right now.
So, A Court of Mist and Fury, that's a Sarah J. Maas.
Yes.
Right? And my dental hygienist was just talking about that this week.
Really?
Well, yeah,
Oh,
because
it's-
Sarah J. Maas just had a new book come out in another series. Or is it when,
It's in the same universe,
universe,
but a different series.
Mhm.
Yes.
And so, yeah, that's funny. So Sarah J. Maas is having the best week
She
ever.
is.
And then you said the other one was called Divine. We'll find it.
Yes.
I have it right here. Rebecca Ross.
Oh, Divine
Yes.
Rivals.
I
by
brought it
Rebecca
because I knew you would ask me and I would forget.
Nice. That sounds very nice. So Chili Peppers for Court of Mist and Fury, like
Yes.
5 Chili Peppers.
Like 4.
Four
Yeah.
Chili Peppers, and Divine Rivals like 1.
1.
Like a
I
chaste
think,
romance.
I think they get married and they kiss.
Oh, that's
so like
okay.
Yes.
Half a Chili
Yes.
Pepper.
which is perfect for young adults.
That's always
And we
good.
often have lists for teens
Yeah.
that want something. I am
Romance.
forgetting, what do we call those lists when they're looking for something a little gentler and
Like a chaste romance. Like
yeah, no, we have a book list.
Oh.
It's something like books that won't make you blush
I
or
think
something
that's
like
what
that.
it is.
Books
I
that
think
won't make
that's
you
what it
blush.
is.
I was that teen. I mean, I'm the one who's coming on here like, whew, I read one that's a top 5 now. But when I was a teen, I actually was really pretty modest.
Yeah.
I wasn't really ready for a
Yeah.
lot of that.
Right.
And so remember, if you have one of those teens, just let the librarians know.
Right.
I mean, Claire is going to give you some great recommendations, and she's going to help you find the right book for your teen.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, mine is I'm in audiobooks for some kids right now. I'm trying to find some things to listen along. There's a new one that came out last year. It's actually the 3rd in the Jerry Craft New Kids series.
Oh, nice.
It's a graphic novel. So if you find the first book, New Kid, by Jerry Craft, then you're gonna meet Jordan, Drew, Liam, and you're gonna get to know them a little bit. He's the new kid at school. He's not quite sure how he really fits in. It's modern day. It's written about the lived Black experience for
Yes.
a kid in middle school and high school. And you will kind of get to know just a little bit about his life, about his family, and about what he's feeling. And he's an artist, so there's nice little, in the graphic novel, there's sketchbook breaks. So in the 3rd installment of this series, it's called School Trip. That's the one that I listened to. And so what's happened is Jordan and Drew and all the buddies, Liam, are going on a trip to Paris. And so what happens? And so there's some really nice, just like points of life that they kind of like talk about in the book, that you realize they make a statement like, it's so nice to come to Paris and have other Americans talk to me who I don't think would have talked to me in America.
Mm-hmm.
How interesting it is that we find how similar we are when we go across the ocean to discover each other, and how similar we all are on like a universal basis, but we had to go to Paris to figure that out. It does deal a lot with like just kind of the day-to-day life of the lived Black experience.
Yeah.
And the microaggressions. There's some characters that you met in the first book, the New Kid book, who are pretty despicable, who seem like they're turning a corner in this book. So that's kind of nice to know. I did listen to the audiobook of it, and it's a multicast recording, which was excellently produced.
I love multicasts.
The voices were great. When there was a panel where a character's facial expression would have conveyed emotion over words being used, the actors would use sounds to
How'd
kind
you
of
feel
do that.
about that?
I liked it.
Yeah.
Like, if dad made a joke and mom was annoyed by it and kid was also annoyed by it, mom would go, ugh, and kid would go, And so they used audio to convey the facial expressions that would have been portrayed in that panel, and I thought that was a smart use of audio. But overall, I would not recommend listening to the audiobook as a standalone.
Yeah.
I think that it only serves to enhance the story, but it does not, it cannot tell the story independently. So if you have a kiddo who likes graphic novels, but you want to introduce them to audiobooks, this might be a nice like side-by-side read along.
Nice.
So download the audiobook, listen to it in the car while your kiddo has the graphic novel in front of them, and then they can follow along with the panels and the read along. I think that they work better together than they do separately. So
Excellent.
that's how I would recommend Jerry Craft's School Trip either as a graphic novel or as an audiobook.
Did we do a children's, teen, and adult book?
I think we did. I think
Okay,
look
I
at
feel
us.
like this is like an unspoken goal for us
know.
that we never hit.
We
Spanning
didn't plan it.
multiple
We didn't plan it.
All right.
Okay, I got that. Multiple generations.
Oh no, not with
Okay.
our reading.
That's gonna be like.
With-
Then we do have multiple
Yeah.
generations, I think, in this radio show.
Goodness. All right, with that, we'll take a break and we'll see you on the other half to talk about teen services at the Liberty Branch Library. Stay tuned.
Woo.
A quick shout out. There is a local theater group. It's called Curtain Players, and they are doing a performance of a play called Marvin's Room. It's based on it's not based. There's a movie adaptation of it as well. I'm not
Yeah.
sure which came first. But Marvin's Room, it's another kind of story of grief.
Yes.
And anyway, we were contacted by Curtain Players because they had a very specific need, and the specific need was for a mascot costume to be used as part of the play. And so I just wanted to give Curtain Players a shout out. They have opening night tonight.
Yes.
You can go on to curtainplayers.org and get the details about Marvin's Room if you want to. But you might see a mascot from DCDL Past on the stage.
I love it.
During one particular scene. So, yes.
I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I was like, we might have to make a library field trip to go and see the show.
Oh, can we please?
So you might see Dewey. He's a star.
Dewey is our old mascot, though,
He is
correct?
our old. He's
Yes.
retired.
We
Yes.
did retire
Well, yeah,
him.
he's living in retirement.
Yes.
So he needs to,
The
have a
may have
hobby.
been his
Volunteering.
next
Yeah.
plan.
Local theater.
Exactly.
We all have the things we want to do when we retire.
Yeah, just calling
My
it
list is
community
getting
theater.
bigger in my later generation.
Wonderful. All right. Well, we've got Claire with us this morning because we're talking about some fun things happening with the teens at
So
the Liberty
many.
Branch Library. Let's hit the first one that's the most pressing. There are only 3 spots left. It's next Monday, February 12th. What is it, Claire?
It is DIY hot chocolate jars. It's like a craft. So I love Valentine's Day so much. And the teens in our community are so academic focused that I like to
Yes.
plan some things that they can just come in and relax and not think
Aw.
about like school.
Yeah.
I love the intent.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this one, it's just we got, some mason jars and hot chocolate and little heart-shaped marshmallows and chocolate chips and stuff. So you can come in, put it together, decorate it, marker it, sign up however you want. And it's so good. You can either drink it yourself or give it to as a gift. It'd be a great Valentine's Day gift. If you want to give one to me, I wouldn't be opposed.
I love they can give the gift to themselves, though.
Yeah,
they
of
have
course.
earned it. Love
They have.
Self-love is important.
yourself.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And you can come in, and I have so many decorations, Valentine's Day decorations in
Yes.
the library.
Uh-huh.
We're doing blind date with a book, stuff like
Oh,
that.
I
It's
love
been-
blind date with a
I know,
book.
it was a lot of fun to do.
Why don't you tell our listeners what blind date with a book is?
And sometimes I forget that not everybody's me and's been in libraries. It's so I picked out a bunch of books of different genres and I wrapped them in white paper, and on the front I wrote like 3 bullet points about what the book's about. So it's like an enemies to lovers romance, and
Okay.
it's in a fantasy world, and I'm talking about the book I just read.
Uh-huh.
And I put it on the shelf. Excuse me. And you go on a blind date. You take a chance on love. You pick it up,
I love it.
check it out, take it home, unwrap it, and you try it out.
Are they all romance themed books?
No,
or-
I
okay.
did. The majority of them are romance, but I
Uh-huh.
did throw in some.
So
for
your
people
blind
who don't like
your
it.
blind date could be with another
Yes.
It could.
non-romantic.
It
book.
You
Good,
could
yes.
find your new favorite read that you never would have picked up
You never-
yourself.
exactly.
And it really gives you the opportunity to not judge a book by its
Yes.
cover.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope
I
you-
100% do that, by the way.
I hope everyone goes to check it out. So this is in the Liberty Branch Library, which is our new branch on Holman Stites Road.
Yes.
As the blind date with a book in the teen area.
It is. It's
Okay.
all in the teen area. And I also have, did you guys know that February is Love Your Library month?
Uh-huh.
And I have a little thing going in there as well. I cut out some hearts, and you can write down why you love the library.
That's very
And
sweet.
keep put it in the
Aw.
teen room.
I love when sometimes I'll get little shots from like branch managers from those kind of things. And it just like, they tend to come on like hard days,
I
you
know,
know,
doesn't it?
where you're just trying to make hard decisions or things are going, and I'll get
Yeah.
one of those and it'll be some sweet love letter to the library. And I melt. Literally, you all make me melt. Or when you get a Post-it note inside of a book that somebody just wants to tell another reader how much they
Oh, yeah,
loved
that one
it.
was sweet.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
no,
I love those.
I had a teen slide a note under my door once because she was too nervous to like talk to me.
Uh-huh.
But it was after a
Aw.
book club, and she was the only one that came, and she like slid me a thank you note under my door.
Oh.
And I still have it, and I cried.
Yes.
I love
And you know,
crying this
Claire,
morning.
your role is so important, especially
you.
after COVID,
Oh, yeah.
because you're you're an adult who is accessible to teens.
Mhm.
Like, they can relate to you. They're going to see you every week.
Mhm.
You know, if you've got a teen who's nervous, even a child who's nervous about talking to people, has been that COVID baby, been, you know, stuck inside, bring them to the library. We're a bunch of really nice people. If you could see Claire's smile right now,
Yeah.
you'd see how approachable she is. Bring them in. It can be really helpful just to be around each other
Yeah,
again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've got lots of teens who want to be involved in the library
Yes.
in like a million different ways. So there are summer opportunities with our volunteers, which we're already getting phone calls about.
Yes.
But we've also got something coming up a little bit more immediately this Monday, February 5th.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So what's
Yeah.
that happening?
It is, we call it the Teen Volunteer Drop-In. It's from 4 to 6, and it rotates between our branches quarterly, right?
Yeah.
You come in from 4 to 6, and you get 2 hours of volunteer time just for showing up. And I basically give you a bunch of stuff to do for
Nice.
those 2 hours.
Yeah.
And you do them. A lot of it's prepping crafts for us for this one, where our life-size Candyland's coming up. A lot of it is prep for that. Things like that. Cleaning
sounds
toys,
fun.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a nice volunteer opportunity. What's the age group that we're looking at?
It's 13 to 18.
13 to
13.
18. And do they need to pre-register for this one?
Yes.
So pre-register, DelawareLibrary.org, click on our events tab,
Mm-hmm.
or download the app, go to our events, go to Monday's Teen Volunteer Drop-In,
Yes.
and you can
Yeah.
go ahead and register your teen for that. And then does drop-in mean like get there at the beginning and hang out till the end, or could they really come anytime?
You could come whenever.
Yeah.
Whenever.
Yeah.
If you come 15 minutes late, I'll give you the full 2 hours.
Ooh,
Like, I'm not.
insider tips.
Everyone's going to show up 15 minutes late.
That's
or
funny.
15 minutes early now.
Yeah, how about that?
I know.
Fingers crossed.
These are hard workers you've got.
That's fun.
Or
You've also got this month's rotation of Dungeons and Dragons
Yes.
is coming to the Liberty Branch Library. Do you have which date is that going to
that
be?
is on February 24th from
Okay.
5 to 8. It's after hours. It's a Saturday. Very cool. I think I'm going to try playing this time.
You can do
Oh.
it. Do you need somebody to, Claire knows my husband.
I do.
Lloyd would love to,
I know,
to
and
talk you through
I was
it
gonna
if you
say
have
to you,
3 or 4 more hours in your
We
life.
had talked about before I left, because I used to work at Grandview, him making me a character. And I swear if I would have stayed a little bit longer, he would have helped me make one.
Do you want him to? Because, I mean, he
Yes.
would totally do that right now. Like, I could call him this moment.
Lloyd, if you're listening.
Lloyd, he's not, but I'll make him listen to the podcast later.
Yeah.
He was still asleep
Yeah.
when,
No,
when I
I would
left.
love to. I want to try, because they love it so much, and I want to love it too.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and
I'm gonna
don't tell
try.
the kids, but the critical thinking skills, the social skills, there are so many things that D&D gives kids for success in school, in life. It really is magical
It is.
on so many levels.
I've watched it twice now, and every time I'm like, I bring other stuff to do, but the whole time I'm like
That's it.
stare.
Yeah.
Yeah, the things they come up with, the story they create. It's
If
Yeah.
you're listening and you don't know what Dungeons and Dragons is, hop on to wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Yes.
Find Off the Shelf with Delaware Library and listen to last week's episode. We had Brian Fox
Yes.
on with us, and he gave us a great 101 on Dungeons and Dragons. If you have no idea what we've just been talking about for the last 2 minutes. So,
Yeah.
all right, what else do you want to let the teens know about things happening at Liberty Branch Library when they do call and they say, "Our sign-up's ready for summer reading club
Yes.
volunteering"? What are you saying?
They are. If you email me, I can send you an application and get the ball rolling. It's if you can start signing up now, but nothing will really happen again until May when we start doing trainings and things.
I see.
But
Yep.
you can sign up now if you want to be really proactive about it. We also have the Teen Advisory Board. You can do that at Liberty with me,
Uh-huh.
at Orange or at Maine.
Love it.
Yeah, and you come in it's once a month. You get an hour for showing up, but with that one meeting comes with a bunch of opportunities. You can get basically as many hours as you want,
Right.
and I love to give them to you.
Yes.
So,
So
we
what
do
we're
a lot of
saying is we really have a lot of opportunities for Delaware County teens to get involved with the library.
We have some amazing teens in this
Yes,
county.
we do.
Our teen librarians have convinced me we just
Yeah.
really have some of the best. So
Absolutely.
they are the best.
Thank you, parents. You're doing a great job.
Yes.
Thank you, teens. You're also doing a great job.
we love
as
you.
well. Yeah.
If you didn't know the library loves you back, you always tell us you love us.
Yeah.
It goes 2 ways.
All right. Well, that is all we have time for today. We've got lots of fun things happening at the library. Again, just visit us, DelawareLibrary.org, click on that events tab, or download the app and go over to our events tab. I would be remiss if I did not thank all of our guests today. Molly, Claire, thank you, Gage, for running the board. And until next week, we will see you in the stacks.